the story of a real school, Augusta Victoria College for Girls. It existed in the 30s, maybe back in the late 20s, but definitely in the 30s in Bexhill-on-Sea, on the south coast of England, near Hastings, Eastbourne, not far from Brighton. The girls at the Augusta Victoria College for Girls in Bexhill-on-Sea were actually the daughters of German parents. Some high-ranking Nazis had their daughters there, and this is for real, and that's something I discovered. They had a blazer badge that was the swastika on one side and the British Union Jack on the other side, and Augusta Victoria College Bexhill-on-Sea written on it. And the story that we have told is about the school, the girls. War is impending. It's summer of '39. Everyone feels the Second World War is about to happen, and a teacher at the school has mysteriously disappeared. And a new teacher turns up, whose name is Thomas Miller, the character that I play, and the story unfolds about him and who he is. We find out when he is doing his interview for the job with Miss Rochel, played by Judi Dench. We find out that his father is German, kann Deutsch sprechen, and so he's fluent in Deutsch and fluent in English. His mother is English, and so Miss Rochel takes him on. And as the story unfolds, we find it's more complicated than a teacher at a girls' school, because the girls are German in an English town, Bexhill-on-Sea, in England, and they're German girls. That's unusual, but it's a finishing school. So the girls are kind of suspicious about him, but he seems to have an odd way about him. And then it unfolds that Thomas is not a teacher at all. He's actually working for MI5, and this school is being watched. And he has a contact, and then the contact is killed. So our story unfolds, and it becomes a situation where Thomas is blamed. They think Thomas Miller is a German spy. He isn't, in fact. He is the one person who's trying to be a sane person within the story. He is German and he is British. He loves Germany, he loves Britain, but he doesn't love toxic Germany or toxic Britain. He is for common sense, and he's trying, and in the end, our story becomes a fight for the girls, for the hearts and minds. You've got Hitler on one side, you have Thomas Miller on the other side. A very unbalanced fight, but maybe he can save one of the girls, maybe he can put something out there that's just a different way of thinking, because Thomas comes from an unusual place, a different way of looking at things, and we have to see whether humanity will win over the grip of Nazi ideology. And it's all about the girls and Miss Rochel and their journey, and Thomas Miller spinning around the edge of it. I grew up for 11 years of my life in Bexhill-on-Sea. My father grew up there as well. My grandmother, great-grandmother, so it's up my grandmother's line. The Izzard in north of Bexhill, a place called Sidley that Dad was very proud of coming from. And so you have basically Bexhill-on-Sea, a town that was a seaside town made in the Victorian Edwardian years, youthful, encouraging people to take in the seaside in the summer sun. And after 1945, it became a retirement town, and it became a very quiet town. And so people would think, well, Bexhill-on-Sea, nothing much happens there. But having come from there, and I've gone on to do things in my life of a certain profile, I was asked to be a patron of the museum there. And I said I would be a patron. And Julian Porter there, the curator, the director of the museum, I'm not sure if he's a director or curator or both, but he showed me this badge. It all starts from this badge. It's a blazer badge for a girls' school in Bexhill-on-Sea. And it has a lion's crest, a rampant lion on it, which you see those on school crests. It has Augusta Victoria College, Bexhill-on-Sea, which a lot of schools would have their name and the town where they're from. It has in one corner the Union Jack at the top, I think it's the top left, and in the top right corner it has the Nazi flag, the Nazi swastika flag. And if you look at it, I've shown this to a number of people. I had a photocopy of it, and I showed it to people. It's black and white. And people go, oh, right. And I'd say, now look at the flags. And they go, oh, my God. You very rarely see the Union Jack and the Nazi swastika right next to each other. This badge on a school blazer, I just thought a girls' school in Britain. I said, what is this school? It had young German girls there. Himmler's goddaughter was there, head of the SS, von Ribbentrop, who was the foreign secretary to Germany. His daughter was at the school. So I thought, maybe not a story about them, but I just thought a story should fit into that school. But our story is not a true story, it is a fictional story, but behind the story is the idea that I think the politics of the last couple of years here at the politics of 2016 to 2018 has showed that what happened in the 30s was not a German problem, it's a human problem. The idea of what I call the simplistic politicians who come in and say, you just got to do one thing, two things, just do these couple of things and everything will work out. It never happens. The smasher up ideas that Donald Trump says, break that agreement, break all these agreements. And then what's your plan after that? I have no plan. These people have no plans. The Brex hate and the Trump hate that is going around the world. And this film, 6 Minutes to Midnight, shows what happened last time when we said, yeah, let's go with simplistic politicians. So it's a cautionary tale, hopefully. The idea of hearts and minds. Can one fight for hearts and minds? We have to do it all over again, right now. 100 years on for the First World War. And then there was the Second World War. And there's now people are saying tribalism, split everything apart. And most of us are going, no, this is crazy. But a lot of people like to vote emotionally, and it's better to vote using common sense. Our film is probably a thriller with a human layer to it, because basically it's a fight for hearts and minds, whether Hitler can win the hearts and minds of these young girls, or whether Thomas Miller can persuade them that fighting for their humanity is a good idea.